Welcome to Rawsko Squeezoff Sports Podcast. It's your boy Rawsko Squeezoff. So I'm coming to you today about the NFL MVP award for the 2024 season. Josh Allen won the award. I got no problem with it. Now, did Lamar Jackson have better stats? Absolutely. Did Saquon Barkley get over 2,000 yards? Absolutely. But it kind of rubbed me the wrong way because I thought Lamar would get it. He was the first first selected All-Pro guy not to win since, who was the last guy? Well, it would actually be Steve McNair. But Steve McNair, all right, so historically speaking, when Steve McNair came in second place, he also tied with Peyton Manning, and that's the reason why he didn't get it, because they had a tie for MVP, and Peyton Manning was the first team All-Pro, and he was the second team All-Pro. Now, it's happened one other time, and that was with John Elway, but they claim what happened is Joe Montana and Jerry Rice kind of split MVP votes on the same San Francisco team, and that allowed Elway to sneak in there and kind of steal that award. Now, this is a different case. So I tried to look up and see what's going on. So since I'm looking down here, because I got my stats on my phone here, and it says since 1923, the vote has been done by the poll. The polling has been done by the sports writers, and according to what I see here, it's a different criteria. So when you're voting for the All-Pros, you're just picking the best players at their position, and the top two guys get it. So you're picking each position, top two across the board. They get the most votes, get the top two positions, first and then second place. Now, when you're voting for MVP, it's actually kind of similar, but it's a point system. So it's a 10-point, 5-point, 3-point, 2-point, 1-point system, which 10 point is for the first person. And it's also kind of different because when you're picking for the All-Pro, you're just picking what it says is not really based on record of team as much as it says it's based on the performance of their position, not just considering the team's success. So I guess that's not supposed to be as much, where you can really factor team success into the MVP. Because I was looking at criteria, and it's just says stats, leadership, and overall success. How do you quantify leadership? There's no single statistic that accurately measures leadership. Now, I did Google it, and it states team success, clutch performances, work ethic, attitude, intangibles. Then you have the media narrative and anecdotal evidence, which is a player that's been involved in specific instances that demonstrates their leadership qualities. Once again, this is also, I believe, by design because they wanted the human element to it, so you can go with what you feel is correct when you vote. I mean, what is that? That's personal opinion, obviously. Overall team success. When it's one or two games difference and you had a head-to-head matchup as well, that could be personal opinion. That's no definite. And in stats, once again, that seems like that should be in stone, but that's personal opinion as well. It's depending on what you're weighting it as. So if you say rushing touchdowns from the 1 yard line aren't important, then it wouldn't be important to you. Or if you say, well, hell, you got 13 touchdowns from the 1 yard line, that's a great stat. You see what I'm saying? Where it's kind of like, it's very subjective. So all I'm saying is that it could be a thing where it's not really somebody wavering or waffling, or, I picked Josh second here, or I picked Lamar first for All-Pro, but I picked him second for MVP. It's very possible their votes could have been pretty much the same, and it could happen be based on a weight system with the scoring system. Now, as far as I was looking at the Offensive Player of the Year award as well, because Lamar came in second in that as well. And it looks like there have been 9 running backs in history that have eclipsed 2,000 yards. 8 of them were Offensive Player of the Year. Amazingly enough, the only person that did not get Offensive Player of the Year was Eric Dickerson, and he has the most rushing yards in history. He's the only running back that has eclipsed 2,100 yards. And he didn't win MVP or Offensive Player that year, which was 1984. 4 of these guys have won MVP. O.J. Simpson, Barry Sanders, Terrell Davis, and Adrian Peterson won MVP. And I think Saquon really had no chance for MVP. Derrick Henry didn't get MVP last time around. I almost believe it's kind of like the triple-double now. Now that it's been done so many times, the triple-double in basketball is not going to get you an MVP anymore. Ever since Russell Westbrook, that's probably not going to happen again, because now it's become, not as special, I should say. So, no MVP there. Saquon, like I said, not 8 out of the 9 guys have gotten Offensive Player of the Year. So he pretty much had that sold up no matter what Lamar did. And then also, there is a factor that Lamar has, won it twice already. And you don't want to see him win it again, especially if he hasn't won a championship, which I think that's more of a feeling. I don't know if it's any really truth to that. Luckily, Lamar himself has said he doesn't care. So if Lamar doesn't care, why should we? He just wants a championship, and I just want him to get a championship. But it does seem like this was a participation award. Like, let's get Josh one. He's been close a few times. He hasn't gotten it. Let's make sure he gets one. I like to think that wasn't the case, even though we kind of feel this way. But we know who we know is the best quarterback. And as much as I love Lamar, it's nobody I'm taking over Mahomes right now. He's not getting any votes for this kind of stuff. And he didn't have great statistics, but his team did win the most games. At least the games that counted this year. And he finds a way to always win. He's always in the Super Bowl. He's always been in at least the AFC Championship game, which I know this is a regular season award, but it's the Arrowhead Invitational because of what he does in the regular season. So if it's about wins, he would have it, but it's not about wins. And honestly, we don't know what the criteria is. Is it statistics? Is it just likability? Is it narrative? I looked up another crazy stat from the MVP voting. Narrative. Is it a stat? Well, according to Google, it has meaning like a stat. So overcoming adversity is number 1. Exceeding expectations is number 2. Clutch performances is number 3. 4 is team success. 5 is impact on the lead. And 6 is media attention and hype. Like, once again, these are all things that are subject to whichever way the media may steer you or whichever way you may feel as a voter. And the voters are all media related. It's just vague, but this is not the best player award. This is the most valuable player, which valuable means whatever you want it to mean. I mean, that's just been proven now. It means whatever you want it to mean. So once again, it's your boy Rawsko Squeezoff, world's foremost authority in all things that matter. Just a dude that likes sports, man. My MVP this year, just so you know, was Lamar Jackson. Secondly, it was Patrick Mahomes, just because they win. I'm not a fan of the team. I'm not even a fan of the man, but he deserves it. He keeps winning. If valuable and if wins are the most valuable thing, that man just keeps winning. So all I can say, if it's who I want to watch, who I like to see play the most, who I think is the best when he's on his game, it's Lamar Jackson, especially in the regular season. Once again, Rawsko Squeezoff, world's foremost authority in all things that matter. Thank you for looking at Rawsko Squeezoff Sports Podcast.